welcome my dear friend, colleague, and a beautiful, amazing woman, Shawn Thompson. Shawn, welcome to the summit, and thank you for being here and sharing your beautiful energy with us today.
Oh, absolutely. I am so delighted to be here. I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this.
Awesome. And me too. So just so you know a little about Shawn, if you could tell us a little about yourself and what really led you to this journey to do this work.
Absolutely. So my background is in counseling psychology, and I was a licensed professional counselor forever and a day, over 20 years, I guess. But it just wasn't feeding my soul completely. I knew what I wanted to be when I was 8 years old. I wanted to be a counselor, but it wasn't really until 2006 did I really step into the type of counseling that I was born to do. And there was a huge catalyst for that. I was studying meditation, I was doing yoga, I was focusing on my intuition. I was born intuitive, but I went the more traditional route and got my licensure in counseling instead of diving into the woo-woo, because as an Italian Catholic, you just don't do that. You go the strict route. And so, as I dove more into spirituality, I had an incredible soul centered awakening that changed my life. And this happened back in 2006. I had an out of body experience. So, for those of you watching, if you have had an out of body or near death experience, put that in the chat for me, because I love to really align. You will definitely understand when I tell you a little bit of my experience. But basically, I went to sleep and I woke up and I was in the light. Okay. And so, for those of you religious people, I was at the pearly gates, right? So I knew exactly where I was. I dropped down to my knees. I did not feel worthy. The light there is so powerful and beautiful and full of unconditional love. I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I stole gum, I've cussed, I've cheated on my boyfriend. Like, I do not belong here, right? So all these angelic beings just surrounded me and they said, no, that's not what this is about. We have something to share with you. So, to make a long story short about the spiritual awakening process, they gave me a life review. They said it's time to level up in my soul purpose and my true north. And they opened my gifts of mediumship. Remember, I had always been intuitive. And they said, you're going to be a messenger. You're going to be the messenger of the soul. Are you ready? And God, you talk about arguing with Jesus and God. I was like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm going to stay in the light. I don't have to go back, right? And then they showed me who I wasn't going to help, who I wasn't going to meet, and that I wouldn't make a difference. And my heart just dropped, right? So I said, okay, fine, and they said, but there are some rules. They did tell me, they did share with me 3 questions that everybody will be asked about when they die, and I'm going to share those with you at the end. They told me I would only remember 10% of what was shown to me in my life review, and that my job was to go back and help people specifically who are grieving the loss of a loved one, to utilize my mediumship, and to also work with those who are awakening, because the time is coming for humanity to wake up, and I have to reach as many people as possible. I ended up making a huge decision to leave my traditional practice and move into spiritual development and mediumship. And I couldn't deny it, because my people would come in for grief, loss, depression, and, Aunt Susie would show up, or grandma would show up, right? And I'm over here having a conversation with grandma and trying to talk to my client with the poker face. So finally, I just said, look, I can offer spiritual counseling, which includes this, or I can do traditional counseling, which includes this. Nobody wanted traditional counseling. They all wanted to talk to Aunt Susie, right? So I hung up my shingle, and it was hard. Let me tell you, it was hard, because I had gone to school for this. And I still hold my license, but I am inactive. I don't have anybody on my traditional caseload. So that is probably the biggest catalyst for me that helped me step into my purpose, which is to help others step into theirs.
So powerful. You're really valued and appreciated. And we are
Thank you.
honored to have you sharing your gifts with all of us. And before we close, I do want to let you all know that I had an opportunity to have an experience with Shawn at one time, and I didn't even anticipate that I was going to be in this scenario, but she did a reading with me with my grandmother after she passed. And I want to tell you, it was one of the most profound experiences of my life. And I never would have anticipated that. But it was, if you go through your whole life believing there's an afterlife, and you believe like, yes, our soul lives on, right? Like we're here, we're in this summit, so we all believe. But I'll tell you, it was the first time and only time in my life I had real evidence. There was proof in that room. Because when Shawn was channeling my grandmother, it was undeniable. There was so much love. She said, Tara, go grab a box of Kleenex. And I said, no, I'm not really a crier. It was like 60 seconds in, I was bummed.
We're both crying, right?
We were both crying. It was just so powerful. So to work with Shawn, I experienced it personally. It was really the real deal. So just to let you know, she's really someone special, a special soul to connect with. Shawn, do you have any last words of wisdom to share with our audience?
Yes, like I said earlier, there are 3 questions you are going to be asked when you die, and it is my purpose to share those with you. The first question, how do you love yourself? Even the parts of yourself that you don't like. The second question, how do you love others? Even the people who have hurt you, abused you, and that you don't like. And the third one is, are you making a difference in the world? And it doesn't matter if it's helping the turtle across the road or if it's helping someone not jump off the bridge and commit suicide. Every person counts. So they want me to tell you, if you follow these 3 questions, you can't go astray, especially when you get asked them at the time of your crossing. So I hope that that's helpful and inspirational too. Keep yourself in check.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So awesome. Get her guide and be able to more deeply connect with her and have that conversation.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes.
Yes. Thank you all so much. Okay. I'll see you soon in the panel. Okay.
Cheers.